HoYoverse boycott failed. Let me make a prediction. Because all these people trying to do the boycott were now it's led by a bunch of geeky-ass Zoomers, have no mental wherewithal or any amount of commitment in their entire life. And they like to say boycott, boycott, boycott while they continue to play it and play it and play it and play it and play it. Shut the up. I mean, they can't even reduce the amount they play. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, these people say it and then they don't abide by it whatsoever. They're weak. There's no amount of change whatsoever, and it's just pathetic. Anyways.
What's up, guys? We're here. So Genshin Impact just officially released their new Natlan region, a region deemed problematic by many on social media, and I think this is a good opportunity to revisit the HoYoverse boycott because every time we do, it gets even more hilarious. And today,
yeah, just letting everybody know, all these people on Twitter who talk about Genshin and they do all this weird ass shit where they Yas Queen, they think they have any amount of control over what happens or doesn't happen in the community, letting everybody here know, outside of the Genshin community, everybody thinks you're a fucking joke.
Is no exception. So for context, for those who are unaware of the boycott, really quick, basically the Natlan region was previewed back in July, and as a result, some users on Twitter started a HoYoverse boycott, claiming this.
Like, I just want to say this. If you are on Twitter and you have a Genshin Impact profile picture, everyone is making fun of you behind your back, man. It's just the truth. It really is the truth.
Natlan region was guilty of cultural appropriation and racism. And this is something that we would see all across social media, these official boycott accounts telling you everything you can and can't do, encouraging you to talk to local politicians. But the one thing they would not tell you to refrain from was playing the game, which is a big problem.
Imagine that. Oh, boycott Genshin, but just make sure you log in every day and do your dailies.
Problem we'll talk about later in this video. However, at that point in July, a lot of Genshin voice actors would come forward to signal boost this campaign, resulting in one of the voice actresses being fired because, obviously. But that's where we left things off in my previous video about the boycott, and you can see some people were not happy with that video. You can see this user screenshotted my video and also Hero Hayes' video and said, this right here tells us that most YouTubers who spoke badly about the boycott are either rage bait or don't play the game.
Yeah, you know what boycotters should also not do? Play the game. Are you fucking dumb?
Ladies and gentlemen, I just got called a tourist by a HoYoverse boycotter. I might not ever recover from that. But anyway, they're trying to shame people like me and Hero Hay by saying we don't play the game. Which is ironic because they're supporting a boycott, and as a result, I would be doing a better job at the boycott than most of the people participating while I'm not even trying. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the people who are attempting to quote-unquote boycott HoYoverse games are still playing the games and coming up with wild justifications for doing so. And you can see the 100,000+ signatures on the related petition mean absolutely nothing if people are still playing the game. It's not an isolated event where some people are doing this. It is a sizable number of the people who are part of this supposed boycott. Now, like I said, that's where we left off, but now with the release of the Natlan region officially, some of the official boycott accounts have made some statements.
Listen, man, everybody's ready to do a great moral grandstand and virtue signal as long as it's convenient to them. You know, like all these people will say, oh man, I wish Genshin was like this, or I wish Genshin was like that. And then they're still streaming it every day for 8 hours on Twitch and putting out 3 daily uploads and putting out a guide for every new character that's put out. Okay, that's great. Go ahead, do your thing, man. Enjoy the game. It's the same thing for all these people who are like, oh man, I sure wish China had better work conditions and wouldn't do child labor, and then they're still watching Jujutsu Kaisen on their fucking smartphones. These people will not have anything to do with any type of good fix in the world if it causes them any stress or inconvenience whatsoever. That's the way it is. That's the way it fucking was. That's the way it always will be. And we all know this shit's the truth. Okay, if it's hard, people on the internet won't do it, and it's just the truth.
Let's see some of the rules they have made up for this new banner. So, we of the HoYoverse boycott urge for a strike on Natlan's very first banner, starting on the 28th of August. Do not pull during her event banner, and do not purchase anything from HoYoverse. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they are discouraging you from pulling this banner, but they are not discouraging you from playing this new update. They are literally calling this region, this related content, racist and cultural appropriation, the reason they are boycotting HoYoverse, but they're still allowing you to play it. That is what slacktivism looks like, ladies and gentlemen. And also, just for your own knowledge, this is one of the characters they deem
that's a good
problematic.
word.
They believe
Great
in this
fucking
case
word.
that the character here, Mualani, is a racist caricature of Hawaiians because that's in their own headcanon, I guess.
Of course.
But right here, this is the greatest screenshot I have seen in a minute. I couldn't even write a script or make up a tweet that'd be funnier than this right here. So let's see what happened to one of the boycotters. So you can see this account right here. This is a account dedicated to posting daily pictures of a Genshin Impact character.
Oh, Jesus
And they
Christ.
also have hashtag boycott HoYoverse in their name. And then they posted this screenshot polling the new banner and saying, oh, hey. Where then one user said you should remove the boycott from your name then, where they reply saying, I'm free to play, thanks though.
Let me tell you guys about the number one demographic that every company looks to make money by getting people to invest in them, and that is player retention. What do you think investors are going to look at when going to invest in your game? Do people play your game? What do free-to-play players have to do in order to remain current and up-to-date with the content? Play longer than people who do spend money. If you are free to play and you are playing the game, guys, I hate to say this shit, but you're still part of the problem that you wear on your Twitter banner so proudly. Hashtag boycott HoYoverse, yet you're still playing every single fucking day. It makes no fucking sense. Just admit that you're a little addicted Genshin piggy that plays every single fucking day because you can't fucking stop because you have nothing else better to do in your real life than talk to Paimon. Okay? Jerk off to your fucking mints, but don't act like you're part of a boycott if you're still supporting the cause that you so righteously are pretending that you're fighting against. It makes no fucking sense.
With a snarky reply, as you can see right there. This is basically the HoYoverse.
I actually don't think that's a snarky reply. I think this is just a stupid little fucking kid. And honestly, I hope it's a little kid. Because if your name is Daily Kachina and you're posting a photo of a little anime girl every day and you're above the age of fucking 20, Jesus Christ, then the FBI is probably going to be mailing you a watch pretty soon.
Boycott in a nutshell. They really can't stop playing this game, and they are just blatant hypocrites about what they're trying to do. But here is one user trying to justify what just happened. Referring to that previous interaction, they say, you do realize there's multiple ways to boycott, correct?
Yeah, you do understand, right? Yeah, so there's the way where you do it that's right, and then there's a way that you do it to where it does fucking nothing. Guess which one you are.
Not really. There might be different ways of boycotting, but they all share one fundamental principle, and it's the fact that you're not supporting the thing you're boycotting. You're not engaging with it in a way that serves their interests. Like, you can't do a partial boycott in this situation. You playing the game for free does not equate to a boycott, no matter what else you're doing. You are not doing a full boycott. I can't believe you have to explain this to grown adults in some cases.
Yep.
But anyways, thanks to Packer Girl here for getting some of these related screenshots. But this is beautiful. It just keeps getting worse. So, the confessions of a Genshin Impact boycotter. So this user who is a boycotter says this. Alright, I'll reveal my secret. Why I've reinstalled Genshin Impact, a thread. Now, I am still part of the boycott, but I think it's important that we don't up and quit Genshin as a whole.
What?
In doing so, we essentially give the Hoyo defenders a place to congregate, a place to call home. The thread
What the
continues.
fuck?
Within my first days of logging in, I was called a performative activist and called attempts at writing the N-word at me by 3 different people. I mean, you are a performative activist. They are correct when they said that. But on top of that, they say, now I should also note that yes, I was a frequent spender on Genshin and Honkai Star Rail. I would steal my mom's credit card at night and spend $20 to $40 every few weeks or so. Money spent, which would lead us to almost being homeless in summer of 2023.
Oh my God.
It just can't get any more ridiculous. The
Oh my
average
God.
Genshin Impact player and boycotter right here. I refuse to believe these are real people, but my observations keep telling me over and over again that there's a very good chance this is a very real person and a
Oh
real
my
set of
God.
circumstances that they're sharing.
What
But a lot
the
of this has to
fuck
do with the
is this?
fact that these Genshin Impact players, they're addicted to the game. That's why they can't fully engage in this boycott, because they can't stop playing, and this interaction really shows it. So this user
Oh
says,
my God.
do you have any advice on how to get the willpower to move on from Hoyo?
Yeah, get a fucking girlfriend.
I hate what the company's doing, but I can't bring myself to delete Genshin and move on. I've been playing for 2 years, and I
Go
feel
to the
like I just
gym.
throw away 2 years of work and all the money I've spent on it. That is a very sad thing to
Oh my
publicly tweet.
God.
I could never. The CIA couldn't torture this information on me. But you see this user reply, this Saturn person, giving their own advice, and this person will be important.
So you have to understand this. It's kind of like buying junk food at your house. When you buy junk food and you choose to not eat them because you're on a diet, it's not a waste for you not to eat them. It was a waste the moment you spent money on them. It's the same thing with Genshin Impact. You wouldn't be wasting the 2 years because you quit. You wasted the 2 years and the money you spent the moment you used to play it and spend on it. It doesn't become not a waste because you continue playing. It is a waste because you did it.
Because they have deactivated. Now, why did they deactivate? Well, they made a thread trying to display all of the HoYoverse sins over the years and also why you should boycott. And the thread was so ass that they literally deactivated their account within a few hours because people were clowning on them that hard. Now, luckily for you guys, I always know when to screenshot things. I always can tell when something's going to get deleted or an account's about to go private or deactivate. So I came through. Trust me, you're welcome. You're going to enjoy this. This is the thread. So it says, why I quit HoYoverse games and why you should too. A thread. Trigger warning. Mentions of pedophilia, racism, and whitewashing. And as always, anytime you see one of these like weird comic things trying to discuss a supposedly serious topic, you know you're about to read some of the worst stuff you've ever seen in your life.
True.
But on top of that, you can see there was no discussion here. This was not an open debate. This was the hidden replies before they finally took down their account. Basically, anyone who disagreed with them would get put behind a hidden reply.
Yo, thanks for the raid, bro.
Here's the thread, okay? Starts off here saying, it is also incredibly racist and sickening company. They mock cultures, whitewash people of color, and it doesn't stop there with their examples of those supposed things that are...
Can we stop pretending that these companies are whitewashing just because it's cool to shit on white people on Twitter? They're making them light-skinned Asians. They're not making them fucking white. Like, we get it. It's cool to shit on white people on Twitter. They're just making them Asian. Holy shit. Like, these people are such pussies, man. It's so dumb. As a brown person myself, but I don't care. Great. Like, it's just so stupid. Nobody cares about it except racist motherfuckers. No, children attempting to do what's right. It's what's right in their head. It's so stupid, man.
Quite a reach. But this is where it gets really good, okay? So they say this. They are also guilty of endorsing and advertising literal pedophilia and lolly in their games. Ew. So here's their examples. Supposedly a 500-year-old god, a character in their newest game with no confirmed age, and not showing full pic, but she is incredibly sexualized here. She is a child.
I have no idea what this is. I will say this. Putting a child in your game is not pedophilia. What is weird as shit is putting children in your game and then sexualizing those characters. Okay, I'm gonna blow everybody's mind. Guys, what do you think the average age of a Genshin Impact player is? I'd probably guess somewhere between 12 and 14. People want relatability in their games. They put kids in their games because kids play their fucking game. Now, once again, if they were to have released Jane Doe's trailer, but instead of Jane Doe, it was Nahida, yeah, absolutely not. I would never play Genshin Impact ever fucking again. However, it's mainly the people in the community making the kids in the game fucking weird that kind of makes it weird for everybody. But so far, Has there been any direct sexualization of a child in a HoYoverse game? My memory's foggy because I try to black that shit the fuck out. I can't remember. Does anybody remember? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't fucking remember, but it's generally community making it weird as fuck.
So again, as always with all of these people who make these claims, if you're
Oh yeah, the Yunli feet shit's a little bit weird, but then again, so are people who sexualize feet.
trying to say this stuff is illegal, you realize you'd be committing a crime by sharing this stuff. Not just sharing it, but also downloading it onto your own computer. It's ridiculous. But the main thing here is, as someone who was supposedly a pretty involved fan with Genshin Impact, how do you not know that Genshin Impact caters to a lot of lolly characters? As always, if you don't like that stuff, that's fine, but don't sit here and play the game and act like you don't see these things. They try to promote lolly characters extremely hard. They're some of the highest selling banners, by the way, and it's impossible.
No, they're not. That's just cap. Wait, what are you talking about? So he said they are some of the most high selling units, which means they're plural. The only child character that's ever sold very well is Nahida, and that's because she's the best Dendro unit in the entire game. I don't believe any... Oh, Jesus. Yeah, the feet one's a little weird, I ain't gonna lie. The ads, once again, these are the ads. Fucking weird. Is this really the whole trailer is just their feet? What? What the fuck?
Possible to not know that these characters exist in the game, and on top of that, right down into the coding, you will see lolly as a body type. I mean, that's how closely associated the concept is with HoYoverse games. If you didn't know that, you're just lying to yourself.
Well, that's because people consider the word lolly a bad word to say, when in reality it just means child, right? That's pretty much it. I don't know why people make the word lolly or shota so fucking weird. It just means like girl child or male child. There's not any inherent or intended sexual nature of saying those words whatsoever. People are just dumb and think that it is. Yeah, I think it implies sexuality though. Not sure. No, it doesn't. It's quite literally just the word for child in Japanese. That's it.
But here's some more examples, and this is where it gets crazy. You can see a bunch of malarkey here, but this one right here, very serious. His EN voice actor abuses his status and is a predator. Now, I'm assuming they're referring to Elliot Gindi. I made a video about him about a year and a half ago. I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to check it out. But yeah, this guy, total predator, absolute creep. This guy was horrible, okay? But here's the thing. After all this stuff came out about him, he was fired by HoYoverse. And that was like a year and a half, maybe even 2 years ago. So what does it have to do with like the Natlan region and all this stuff? But anyways, that seems a little unserious when you have it right here, right? And then next to it, you have some other wrongdoings, and it's Genshin Impact referring to what they claim is a Hawaiian-inspired area as a vacation spot. You're comparing these two things, like, again, so unserious with these threads. And down here, more coping about the characters, and then this part is wild. So they're saying the Arlen skills here in Honkai Star Rail are problematic because they have a swift harvest technique. So are you saying there's something like, I think I know the connection they're trying to draw here, and that would just be...
Wait, so because Arlen has an ability called Swift Harvest? Oh my god. Oh my... I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Let's be fair. Let me actually look at this. All right. Shacklebreaker is insane. I will say that Shacklebreaker is insane. Okay, and that I saw Swift Harvest and I'm like, okay, dude, here we go. Shacklebreaker is insane. All right, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Okay, that's a little insane. You learn something new every day. Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Rappa, the first like rapping character in HSR, kills monkeys. All right, so yeah, it is pretty insane. I ain't gonna lie.
Projection, like that's something you probably shouldn't admit that you think of when you see a dark-skinned character with an ability called Swift Harvest. But anyways, they continue on. I wish you guys could see I wish I had arms working with me here because I keep imitating the poses that this character's in. But anyways, it says I can make easily more points, but I think this is enough to show how terrible of a company HoYoverse and MiHoYo truly is. They should not be supported. And here's the next one.
I will say, do you want little kids and tons of Twitter clout? Then draw little characters explaining what you're saying. Because otherwise little kids will phase out. But now that you've made it a picture book, yeah, you'll get all the minors to read and retweet your post.
I got my hands up in the air.
Good for you, man.
What can I do? Well, they say a bunch of blah, 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 blah. But this is the important part. Next, you should stop promoting HoYoverse games on social media. I know it can be hard not to talk about your favorite characters, but this can only advertise the game to new players, which isn't what we want. Private DMs are okay. Private DMs are okay. This just shows how disingenuous this whole thing is. But continuing on, they go, and finally, Boycott. Being mostly gacha games, HoYoverse is mostly fueled by their players' wallets, so do not give them money. Don't play their games.
This one's
don't
okay.
pay for their games. Don't associate with them on social media. Avoid anything that gives them a single cent.
Yep.
Wow, they're actually making some pretty good points.
Yep, this
this
great.
is much more of a boycott. They're implying you shouldn't play their games even
True.
if it's free to play.
Yep.
However, then the next slide in their PowerPoint presentation is this where someone says, but wait, wouldn't it be better to just go free to play? Server maintenance will cost them money. Holy copium, by the way.
So fucking dumb if anybody actually thinks this. Do you know how much money it would cost them to server maintenance one extra player? Shut the fuck up. Good God, it's so fucking dumb.
The way, where they reply saying, as a former free-to-play player, I can see where you're coming from. So I guess it is okay to do a free-to-play option. Very confusing stuff, but as you can tell, this thread went off the rails. It was clowned on so hard, this user deactivated. And let's look at some other things before we wrap it up.
That was the final panel? There was no addressing the final panel? There must have been another panel. Are you fucking kidding me?
There are so many desperate attempts. This user right here, you got to read this. Yeah.
Okay, get me the fuck out of here, man. Do you want Genshin to get better? Then quit the fucking game. It's that easy. There it is. Quit the fucking game. There it is.